right, let's get started. All right, so my name's Larry He, and I work for Assemblyman Bill Colton. And what a beautiful day. Today is beautiful not because of the weather, but also 150 years ago, exactly today, the marvelous Transcontinental Railroad was completed. The last golden spike was, nailed down, and then the United States was, for the first time, was connected, the East and the West. And so today we have so many important elected officials and also community leaders. And thank you very much, all the press, for coming. So let's first welcome the our assemblyman, Assemblyman Bill Colton, who's the sponsor of the Chinese Railroad Workers Resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I want to thank you all for coming here, and it is a beautiful day, and what we are trying to do is a beautiful thing, because what we're doing is we're recognizing some 15,000 workers who worked on a project to really accomplish American greatness. Back in that time, 150 years ago, we had a situation where the country was growing. It was separated, however. The East was separated from the West, and it was very difficult to go from one part to the other. And what was needed was a transcontinental railroad, where you would basically have people have a more convenient way of traveling to get from one part of the country to the other. And they had a great deal of difficulty. The eastern part of it they were able to start and work on, but they needed to complete the connection to the West. And Utah and parts of the western area were very difficult to work in. And people came from China, workers, to do this very dangerous work. Many of them lost their lives in doing it. They were working with dynamite, they were working in very difficult climate. It was a very difficult job to complete, and they got it done. And some 15 to 20,000 Chinese men, basically, came and worked on that railroad and completed it. And the sad thing is that when they had the final ceremony celebrating the completion of the railroad, those workers were not even allowed to participate in that ceremony. It was on May 10th, and the workers who put their hard work into it were not able to be there and get the recognition they're entitled to. And it's very important for people to be recognized when they do something that is great. And they did something that was great. This was the beginning of the economic outburst, growth of the American economy. And it was accomplished, it was able to be done because of the connecting of the Transcontinental Railroad. So we want to make sure today that we recognize those men who work so hard and put so much into this next step forward for America. And those men who came here, they came by themselves, most of them. They worked hard, there was great danger, and they accomplished it. And yet, they were never recognized for what they did. And that's sad. And we need to correct that. And not only were they not recognized, but eventually you had the Chinese Exclusion Act, whereby they could not bring in even their families, where they could not, have more people from their families come and recognize that what they accomplished and what was going to happen after that. And one of these interesting things was, after the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad, by all these hard-working, dedicated Chinese workers, many of them, when they finished that job, went on to work on the Long Island Railroad. That was also being built at that time. And many of them got jobs continuing working on the Long Island Railroad, and again, successfully developing an important rail link here in New York State. So New York State especially should recognize this. And that's why we were very happy to have a resolution that will be passed on May 14th, which will recognize the hard work of those individuals who came here, worked hard, subjected themselves to great danger, and succeeded in connecting the eastern and western parts of America, allowing for the great economic growth that would follow from that. And they accomplished it. We want to recognize it. And there are many people who are from Cantonese part of China, speak Cantonese, and their families were the ones who were actually the ones who built that railroad. And they, many years later, 2 generations later, actually came here. They started to live here and look to participate in the American dream. And many of them remembered the great-grandfathers who had originally come and who had worked on that railroad. And many of them have told me that they did research trying to find out information about their great-great-grandfathers to track their actuality of being part of that railroad. Some of them were able to find that documentation, others were not. It was very, very difficult years later. But it plays an important role in their family heritage and their pride in coming here to America to continue the great work, and we want to recognize that. One of the things that 2 years ago we passed a legislation which I and Assemblymember Grace Lee were the lead sponsors of, and in that legislation we basically declared the Asian Lunar New Year a public school holiday throughout the entire state. And this year, for the first time, Asian Lunar New Year fell on a weekday and schools were closed all over the state. And one of the things that, many of us experienced after that having happened was that non-Asians were wishing a happy Asian Lunar New Year to our Asian brothers and sisters and neighbors and families. And because they, for the first time, became aware of the Asian Lunar New Year. Likewise, we want recognition of the fact that the Transcontinental Railroad was built because of the hard work of so many Chinese men. They never were able to be reunited with their immediate families because of the Chinese Exclusion Act, but now they have come to America. They've done research to find out that in fact their great-great-grandfather was part of this group of people, and they are proud about it, and they want to, continue here as part of the American dream. So when we recognize each other's accomplishments, when we recognize each other's holidays, food, culture, language, we become closer together and we unite into a very strong family of people. And we become to the point where we make achievements for neighborhoods. We make neighborhoods stronger. And that's what we're seeing today. And it'll become even more strong, it'll become even more close if we start recognizing each other's accomplishments. And the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad was a major accomplishment for those people who were working on it. And so we're going to recognize it, we're going to have in Albany, and I understand Council Member Susan Zwang has an important announcement with something that she did here in the City Council, recognizing the accomplishments of the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad. So all of this together is going to make us better people, it's going to make us a stronger community, and it's going to make us a better New York. And we want to be part of that, and we want everyone to be aware of it, and everyone to participate in the recognition of it. So I would just, say that this is another step in a long journey to make our neighborhoods greater, to make New York State greater, to make it more and more possible for people to get recognition when they do something like this great feat of of accomplishing, of completing the connection between the East and the West, connection between two parts of America, when once it was connected, accomplish a great economic growth for the entire country. And that's what we're here doing today. And on Wednesday, May 14th, we are going to have a ceremony in Albany, displays about this, people coming and talking about it, and it's going to be a great thing for all of us to be part of. And I want to thank you for coming here and helping us, alerting us to that. So thank you very much, and together we'll move forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Assemblyman Colton. Next, let's welcome Assemblymember Grace Lee, and who is the chair of New York State AAPI Task Force, and who's instrumental in terms of pushing forward this resolution.
I want to thank Assemblymember Colton for inviting me here today on a very important anniversary of the Transcontinental Railroad. 150 years ago, we were, Chinese Americans were erased from the story of the railroad and the back-breaking, courageous effort that they put in to making sure that this railroad could be built. And in 2014, Corky Lee, an activist and a photographer from Lower Manhattan, worked to reconstruct and reframe the history of Asian Americans who contributed to the building of the railroad. He brought together all of the descendants of the railroad workers for a photo, to remake the photo that of when they put the last spike into the railroad, and the celebratory photo that did not include Asian Americans. He brought all the descendants back to remake that photo and to retell the history of Chinese Americans and their contributions. And so it is with that inspiration from Corky Lee that we are doing this incredible event led by Assemblymember Colton to bring up descendants of the Transcontinental Railroad workers and many others in the community to celebrate the contributions of Asian Americans, to tell the story of how Asian Americans have been part of the foundation and the building of our country and of the United States and of our communities. So I'm very proud to be joining Assemblymember Colton and to be standing here also with Councilmember Susan Zhuang to celebrate this anniversary and to recognize Chinese Americans and what they did to help our country move forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Assemblymember Lee. And next, let's welcome our Councilmember Susan Zhuang.
First of all, I want to thank everyone to come here today to celebrate May 10th as our Chinese American Railroad Workers Day Railroad Workers Memorial Day in New York City. I passed a bill resolution on May 1st, which is the first time in City Council in New York City we recognize Chinese railroad workers. A lot of people think Chinese railroad workers connect the East Coast and the West Coast, but they also worked hard for the Long Island Railroad, as Assemblymember Colton already mentioned. But a lot of people, for us to remember the railroad workers, it's a reminder for American society. Chinese Americans contribute to this country. We are part of this history. You cannot erase this history just by not let us to be in part of the picture, not let us to be in the history book. Now we have the evidence shows we are part of American history. And this year in City Council, we're working so hard, try to get more money to invest in AAPI curriculum, make sure our history written in the in the American history book, and our kids, not only our Asian kids, every single kid in New York City should learn more about AAPI history. We are part of the American history by this dynamic, in current dynamic with our current president. Every day he talk about deporting this person, the other person, but he forget U.S. built by immigrants. my history is part of immigrant history. Everyone come to this country, they have American dream. Like myself, I came here when I was 20 years old. When I hear my constituent calling me to ask me, can I travel abroad, see my parents? Can I travel abroad to see my grandparents? That hurts me personally. Because we all coming from somewhere. Some people come sooner, some people come later. Every single person should get respected here. People with have good track record should get respected here. They should not worry about they were born foreign country, they have parents in foreign country or grandparents in the foreign country. Everyone should get respected here. That's the most important thing this year. We have to make sure all the immigrant story is part of American story. Every immigrant should get respected here. No one should worry about going to foreign country or the other country to visit their relative or travel abroad to learn more about other cultures. This is a sad thing, but in our city level and our state level, we try to correct that and do more for our community. I want to thank Assembly Member Grace Lee and my mentor, Assembly Member William Colton, to elevate our Asian heritage history and elevate our community. Thank you both.
Thank you, Council Member. And I want to let the reporters know before you go, the significance of the resolution is we still have hundreds of the descendants of the Chinese railroad workers that are currently living in this part of the city. And so, for example, President Joe Law is one of the examples. And his great-great-grandfather came to the United States, worked on the railroad. And thank you very much for coming. I know you guys are very busy, but thank you very much.
We welcome more people
Yeah, I know.
to
We
come
have.
up to Albany. So if they want to join for the celebration, that they can contact Assembly Member Colton's office to participate.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, yes.
Thank you so
All right, no problem. Thank you. And let's welcome. We have a very special guest today. We usually don't have that fortune or luck to have speakers, people coming to the district and helping us. Today we have Alex He, who works for New York State Assembly Speaker's Office. Let's welcome Alex. Give a few words.
Hi everyone, I'm Alex He, and I'm very glad to participate in this event on behalf of our Assembly Speaker Carl Hasty. And I'm Chinese, and we Chinese, we have long history, and we value our history. And in America, the Transcontinental Railroad is our shared history. And I want to thank Assemblymember Colton and Lee, and also Councilmembers Susan Zhuang and our community leaders to help us celebrate this shared history. And we know shared history makes the community united. So let's united and better and fight and better protect our community together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alex, for taking all the drive and come to Brooklyn. And next, let's welcome our district leader, Nancy Tong, who might well be a descendant of the railroad workers too. All right, Nancy, please. Yes.
Yes, first I want to thank the Assemblyman, Bill Colton, Assemblyman Grace Lee, and Councilwoman Susan Zhuang, for having this event. But this is actually very, very important, so that people will know our history. There's a lot of times they think that our Asian people have not contributed to America, which is not true. So we want them to have this kind of event in the history so that the kids, when they're in school, they will learn about the railroad. This is very important, and I'm sure the councilwoman will be fighting for us so that we can have these kind of history in school. Susan, right? You're going to help us do that? So I want to thank you all for coming. I myself is unable to go to Albany, but thank you all that will be going up and supporting and seeing the resolution. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Nancy. Next, let's welcome a very special person and the president of American Association of Cantonese, President Joe Law, and who is a pivotal force behind this movement. And his organization worked with a number of other organizations across the country and got us the posters and literally educated our community. And let's welcome Mr. Law, please.
Thank you. 我淨係攞廣東話嚟。
Yeah.
I have to use my own language
Yes.
because the Chinese the railroad worker is 90% is the Cantonese.
Yes.
Thank you. 首先咧，好感謝大家嚟到呢一度係支持我哋鐵路華工人。今日咧，我哋非常之高興咧，能夠得到市議會同埋州議會嘅認可，呢係個法案嚟㗎，唔係嘅議案嚟㗎，非常感謝。中議員 Colton、Grace Lee、仲有市議員Susan， 仲埋一班嘅議員嚟支持我哋。我係第5代嗰個鐵路華工嘅後裔。My great grandfather in the 1864 already come to the United States to help to build the railroad. And also I'm a 台山人，係台山人。即係嗰個時候咧，我哋係賣豬仔，我哋啲先輩係賣豬仔過嚟呢一度嘅。咁咧，我哋都能夠嚟到美國。喺最艱苦嗰個環境之中，逢山開路，遇水搭橋，咁嗰啲山洞咁艱苦嘅環境，咁寒冷嘅天氣，我哋中國人都能夠打通呢個東西部嗰個鐵路。我可以喺呢度講咧，喺我哋呢個得到呢個認可，我哋真係非常之感動。因為咧，我哋嘅先輩能夠得到美國遲嚟嘅認可，起碼係對我哋嘅先輩同埋我哋華人一個尊重，同埋一個主流社會嘅認可係非常之好嘅。我喺呢度呼籲咧，我哋下個禮拜5月14號星期3，我哋咧美國攞嘅港府人咧會provide 一個巴士 ，a bus it will ride in the A Avenue by 66th Street. It in the park over there. So 7 o'clock in the morning, we're going up to the going to Albany. Welcome everyone to come over, join on the bus to go up there. 歡迎大家嚇，我哋14號星期3 7點鐘響八大道66街翠苑嗰個公園嗰度咧，我哋有一部巴士，係歡迎大家都過嚟同我哋一齊去 Albany。多謝大家。
Today we also have another very special organization whose members are currently working on the railroads, and not that railroad, but our MTA railroads. Okay, so and let's welcome MTA Chinese Association representative and leadership, both Kevin and Aaron. Give a few words, please.
Thank you. I gotta read, all right? Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Aaron Du. Currently member of MTA, and also we are the members of Chinese American Association. I'm here to thank you, New York Assembly member William Gordon and Assembly member Grace Lee. Oh, I'm sorry about that. And of course, New York City Councilwoman Susan. Of course, all the people support the bill. Oh, sorry about that. Thank you. You're so much helping pass the Chinese American Railroad Workers Bill. The American now know the truly history of our Chinese. Hopefully, Asian hate here will disappear, move on. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Kevin. Come all the way. Yeah. Next, let's welcome New York State AAPI Commissioner Dr. Tim Law, and who's also the founder of CAS.
Okay.
Chinese American Social Services. Yes.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm honored to be here to honor the positive contribution railroad workers made to this country. Look at the pictures. They are sweating. They are allowed to make an ultimate sacrifice because they use the dynamite. They'll try to get through of the mountain. So as a result, a lot of them die because that's a very dangerous work, not easy. Today we sit on the train from the west to east, Transcontinental Railroad, very comfortable, very easy. But to them, it's very, very tough job, very hard work. So we must honor them. Okay, don't forget about them. I am the member AAPI Commission. Meeting after meeting, I appointed the governor Hogo. I told them that we must recognize the heritage and the culture and contribution of our Chinese to the country. Don't forget about them. I always urge the school teach the history about our Chinese culture heritage. Don't forget about them because in the park near us, not too far, Sapphire Park, there are a bunch of youngsters after school hours, always still yelling at us, Kung Fu violence, Chinese violence, don't stay here. You have to go back to China. That's a hate crime. They don't forget us. We make a great contribution to this country. Everybody has to respect each other. I respect your culture, you respect my culture. Let's work together, improve the well-being of our community. Don't just ignore the other ethnic group. That's not right, okay? So this railroad worker, they make tremendous hard work. That's not an easy work. Now look at the picture, okay? Look at that. See? Not easy work. Not just they have probably work 12 hours a day, not from 9 to 10, 9 to 5 or something like that. So let's let's honor them, okay? Contribute them. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Today we have a very vibrant and energetic community in South Brooklyn, and but one part of the community is our small businesses, and we're very fortunate to have Mr. Paul Lee, the president of Bay Parkway Business Association, and let's welcome Mr. Lee.
大家好，今日我用廣東話啦，我同阿羅少玲一樣啦，我哋都係廣東人嘅後代。咁今日我哋睇到咁多圖片咧，亦都諗起我哋嘅先輩對我哋美國嘅貢獻。咁我哋應該要懷念佢哋對我哋嘅貢獻。所以今日咧，阿 Colton 同埋阿 Susan 咧幫我哋立呢個法案咧，我哋要非常感謝佢，因為呢個法案咧係提醒我哋咧。唔係話我哋呢一代或者我哋嘅後代，每一個人都要記得我哋先輩對美國嘅付出咁呢個法案對我哋係好重要嘅。咁所以我哋希望呢個法案咧可以提醒我哋多謝我哋嘅先輩對美國嘅付出。多謝大家
Last but not least, let's welcome Mr. Michael Huang and Hong from Zhanjiang Association. Give a few words. Thank you.
我都係講廣東話。非常感謝我哋 Colton 議員同埋阿 Chris 議員同埋嗰個莊文儀議員咧嗰個邀請嚟參加呢個鐵路罷工人呢個新聞發佈會，非常之感謝，亦都非常感謝呢幾個議員，我哋州議員、市議員呢幾個議員咧，為呢個法案咧能夠做出來。係目的係為了講我哋華人在美國生活為了我哋後一代係一個保障。點講呢？因為美國係冇能夠忘記我哋華人喺美國個先輩喺美國做下驸馬立下驸馬功勞。呢個呢係我哋個前輩為呢個鐵路交通做咗非常之大嘅貢獻，亦都係講為美國做咗我哋華人為美國做到非常大嘅貢獻。喺呢度我非常感謝呢幾位議員爭取為我哋呢個華人做咗呢個法案，謝謝。
Okay. please. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
大家好，我係美國紐約港府人執行主席。咁啊，呢次華工日係州政府、市政府能夠通過，係我哋華人嘅光榮。咁樣就係我哋一定要讓我哋嘅子孫銘記先輩嘅歷史。咁啊，辛苦晒各位州議員、市議員、Colton，辛苦晒你哋。呀，多謝大家。
哇，真的 OK。下面我們有請 Yeah, next let's welcome President Lee to give a speech. Thank you.
好，大家好。首先多謝我哋啲議員對我哋嘅前輩對美國嘅貢獻一嘅認可，就我哋作為我哋第5代嘅華工嘅後裔，就而家感到好似得對得正嘅前輩付出嘅貢獻，對佢嘅懷念，我哋感到非常值得。我哋希望各個就參與嚟宣傳我哋華人對美國社會嘅貢獻，希望我哋大家提高我哋美國社會喺華人嘅主流嘅地位。好嘅，多謝各位。
Thank you. In conclusion, I really want to say 3 things. The first is this history cannot, should not, and must not be ever forgotten. 第一点，我想说的是，我们华人在美国铁路建设方面，这个历史是永远不会，也不应被忘记的。The second I want to say is our ancestors did their part to present a marvelous gift to this great country of America. Now it's our time to do our part. Let's work together, do our part, and work for the community, contribute to this country. 第二点，我们的祖先不远万里从中国来到美国，为美国献上了历史上最大的礼物，就是贯通了美国的东西。有一句话我看到展览上说非常感动，说 The Chinese helped build the railroad, the railroad helped build America, which is true. 我们华人帮助建设了美国的太平洋铁路，而太平洋铁路帮助强大了美国。现在是我们这一代人要继续发挥我们的力量，跟各族裔一起，能够为社区、为这个社会以及为这个国家继续做贡献。Third, we should work together, fight against any kind of anti-Asian sentiment. Nobody in this country should discriminate and look at us differently or look down at us simply because we look different, we look Asian. That's totally unacceptable. 第三点，我想说的是，我们华人以及其他的族裔务必要团结在一起，坚决的对任何形式的这种歧视亚洲人、歧视华人的做法、行为和言论做坚决的抵抗，这是我们的责任，也是我们的义务。Thank you very much. At the end, I want to thank Assemblyman Colton and thank our Councilmember Susan Zhuang. And without their effort, this could never ever be happened. And just let you know, this New York State resolution will be the first in the country that recognized the historical contribution of Chinese railroad workers through a legislative process. 最后我想说，我们即将通过的这个铁路华工日的决议，是美国历史上第一个州以这个议会投票的形式来纪念我们铁路华工以及所有的这个华人以及亚裔人对美国所做的贡献。让我们给我们科顿议员一些掌声。下面我们就要大家一起 let's work together to try to make this part of the history curriculum. 下面我们要想方设法共同努力，能够把这一段历史大写特写到我们纽约市、纽约州的课本上，不光要让华人知道，要让所有人都知道，好吗？谢谢大家 ，Thank you very much。5月14号，期待大家有空的话，一起到Albany见证这个历史的时刻。We welcome you, we expect you, and to come up to Albany May 14th to witness this historical moment.
说地址时间。
哦，时间早上7点钟，地址是八大道60间
66间，在那个翠园酒家隔壁那个公园。
OK。
How many bus？一辆。
一辆到2辆，如果是人多是2辆，如果是57个人1辆 bus。
要打电话去报名。
对对。
打给你啊。
对。
打电话报名给你。
是的。
好的。
好，谢谢。
All right, thank you，谢谢大家，谢谢大家，谢谢。